Chronicles TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. In the previous episode, we went to the Sholmes residence. Today's episode right now, we're going to keep on going with our investigations, part 2. And we're going to hand off the little note postcard to the inspector. If you have today's episode, make sure that like, push the channel. It looks as though the police are still here, carrying on with their investigations. Perfect! So let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. Yes, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at the silver tip Iris gave us for him. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy, fellow friend. This is for you. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? I'm sorry, I say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson. What? For me? From her ladyship? Her ladyship? Give that here at once. Come on, hand it over. That's for me. Don't wait. Wait for me to give it to you, will you? What was that coin exactly? It's a silver crown, obviously. But it's a lot more than that. It's appearance fee. That's what it is. A bribe. An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean a bribe. That's right, for the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me every time. Yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly. Of course, her using my name without my say-so does make me the butt of all unpleasant jokes, but still, I am sorry, Inspector. That must be difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what did you want to know then, eh? Sorry? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know? Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, we very much like you to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Ah, the little knife-wielding, mustache Japanese fellow. He lives in right old hovel. It's just over there. Look! Right there in the corner. On the first floor in the house on the corner where that wreck of bicycles popped up. Ew. So you just say that you're... Okay. That is nearby indeed. We could have just walked over there a long time ago. If I remember rightly, the landlord is John Garredib. Right, well, if you see her again, you make sure you give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it. You tell her that Gregson sends her very best wishes. Don't worry, Inspector, we will. Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship. Oh! What the heck happened to that fence? Well, at least he told us what he wanted to know before he left. Yes, so then, shall we go and see what we can find in Natsume's lodging? Definitely! Move to the lodging. In the end, we have to go back to Briarwood. No, we're in Briarwood. We have to go back to the prison to tell that. Okay, we're in there. Napoleon Dynamite? May I help you? Yes. Would this be the resident of Mr. John Garredib? Indeed it would, sir. And who may I say is calling? My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he's taking lodging here. We would very much like to ask him some questions about our client. What is wrong with her? One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garredib. Did you see that, Mr. Sato? That was real-life English maid. I know. As I understand it, anyone standing in English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day keeps getting better. It certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it? We need only to meet a butler, and the experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure if I'd go far for that, but I understand the sentiment.
Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garrett will see you now. This way.
Why does he look like a freaking... I'm about to say Climb, but that's not the name. Larry? Larry, is that you? Good day to you. Young Garrett at your service.
Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. He's a defense lawyer.
Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back at the Battle of Magwarn, don't you know? Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service. I delivered the reins to the ups and comings. So he's a retired soldier. That's a hell of a job getting up and down stairs now, I tell you. Don't get out much, as you can imagine. Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was painting at the top of the stairs, panting.
You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruhodo.
Do you think so?
Well, Mr. Garrett, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal.
Oh, it was nothing. The medal's just folderol, really. I didn't like to offend the general, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly. Joan, fetch the... Ah! Dash it all, woman! Be careful!
Oh, dearie me, I do beg your pardon, sir. Huh.
You jolly nearly took the skin off my hands.
I shall be more careful, sir.
So anyway, there you have it, living the quiet life now, sort of.
Yes, I see.
Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right?
Yes, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us.
Only too pleased, naturally, especially if it helps to keep the peace here in Blightly. We forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, I'm sure you're aware. So this case is very much the public eye, as it were. Oh, is it? Wait until they hear the news about what happened back in Japan. Even had some famous detective poking around, you know, in this old house, would you believe?
Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all the detective business.
Oh, but you have a copy of Red's magazine here, so... Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak.
So he's in Soseki-san's room. It's a bally nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. I don't like all this fuss. It's jolly unsettling.
About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Garrett, do please tell us.
Yes, play it Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week.
Oh, just 1 week? So he moved in very recently then.
I have 2 lodgers most of the time, one on the ground and one on the floor, just below us. The first floor became available a week ago, you see? There! Dash it all, John, do be careful.
Oh my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Does she even look?
If you want to know my opinion, I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him. Oh, why? He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulders. This man had a shady written across his sweet, soaked brow, if you ask me.
Sweat.
I said to myself, John, that man is trouble. Sooner or later, he's going to be doing something untoward. And I'm really wrong about anything.
We won't be calling this Mato as a witness, that's for sure.
Was there anything else that was struck you suspicious about the man at all? Yes, oh yes, indeed there was.
And she's dying to tell us. Had you noticed anything else about your lodger, Mr. Natsume?
Oh my word, yes, the man was shadier than an orchard.
Orchard?
Could you elaborate? Well, take the man's room, absolutely stuffed full of books. It is more than anyone could ever read. And he never so much passes time a day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just trots off to the old bookshop every single day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time. Everyone else in the house had gone to bed too.
Oh, I see. He was just studying.
The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed around 9 each night. I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning.
Ah.
Could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Natsume's routine? Oh! I understood that neither of the lodgers live on the floor in the house, is that correct?
That's right, yes. Both below us, on the first floor on the street level.
Then how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times they come back in the evenings, for example. Even the times they go to bed.
No, ma'am, that's on you. Good grief, John, be more careful, woman.
Oh my goodness, sir, I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Something doesn't add up here. Let's go investigate the room. It seems that the incident took place around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window at around that time? The window?
Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement, just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby?
5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garredib household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, John?
No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road.
Oh, I see.
Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then?
Such as?
Anything at all, even it seemed unrelated.
Well, yes, was there something then? Well, it's nothing particularly significant, but around that sort of time in year. For the love of God, John, watch what you're doing.
Oh, dear me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir.
Do be more careful, woman.
Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Naruholo.
Oh, yes?
I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at the hour. Nothing at all.
Oh, really? Mr. Garredib? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing of! She drugs him. John, that's it all. What is the matter with you, woman? She drugs him.
Begging your pardon, sir? Nothing happened.
She drugs him. Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to quiet, uneventful meal. John?
That's right, Mr. Garredib.
She drugs him. What is the matter with these two? She drugs him.
It sounds like something happened here in the room on the evening of the incident, but what?
I wish I knew. She drugs him. Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? Why, certainly, just below us on the first floor.
And Mr. Shumps is investigating there, even as we speak.
Yes, told Millie that's his name had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key.
Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Shumps' services?
That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we look around in Mr. Natsume's room, I mean? Don't see why not. It's just down one flight of stairs.
Who knows if we'll find anything that could help us with the case, but we have to try.
We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we?
Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Shumps again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more.
Alright, next up. She's conspiring with him. What the hell is this?
Ooh, dessert.
Oh my god, what the heck happened here? The Natsume room. Kitty! Why is it a brick wall? What? Just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty in here. I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that.
I don't think I ever seen so many books in all my life.
No, me neither.
It's so dark in here too.
Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think. Yes, once upon a time. But for some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and a mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives.
By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you?
Oh, that's true, but according to what Garredib told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. And pray tell? He could be underneath all these books. He could. Look at all these books stacked up there. They almost reach the ceiling.
They're all worked English literature, and they all smell so musty.
With this volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you?
No, what a dreamy idea.
A bad dream, maybe. For me, at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the books that are at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again.
So reading is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us.
I certainly didn't expect that conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. Who that cat?
Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master's away.
I don't know about that. He disappeared into the pile of books as quick as a flash. It was a tricolor, Mike, was it? Do they even have a sort of cat here in Great Britain?
Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan.
That's made me feel homesick now.
Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days.
What were we on? Where did the cat go?
And that seems to be wedged into a crevice between the mountain of books on the other side.
On either side. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides by this towering old tome, surely he dreamt of books every night as well.
Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from the second-hand bookshop. Your books.
Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it.
Look, and the date of purchase.
2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident.
He must have been on his way back from buying some old books.
The second-hand book receipt has been entered the court record. Alrighty then.
Oh, look, it's a beckoning cat from home.
It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Meneki Neko all the way from Japan with him.
I hardly think you're in position to comment, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage?
Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted Lucky Charm.
Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same, and this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him.
It's not doing a very good job so far, is it?
You mustn't say such things.
I didn't say a word. Why are my eyes such a giveaway? Let's see. Could you even call this a window?
I think so. It was a window at one time after all. Although all that remains is a frame around some bricks now.
So really it's just a wall then. But why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that?
I'm afraid I have no idea. Ah! Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on a whimsy.
That's alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation here makes the place very oppressive.
It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely tiring. Whatever, trying. Oh my god, we were just investigating there and you're there now. Ah, look, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah, there he is. Where did he appear from? He seems to be engrossed in the pages of the old book. I hope we won't mind to disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, you two. Good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Burya.
Yes, of course, the Burya. And let me see. What happened on that voyage?
It was Kazuma Asogi. He died, tragically. But you were a great help to us.
Ah, yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asogi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it?
Oh,
Well, you seem to remember something of it, at least.
what an honor to remember vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr.
Oh, no, my dear madam, hold your tongue. My pride on myself, superior powers of recollection, your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo and Mr. Susato. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. I lose the first round. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrive in London, but some Scotland Yard ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to the crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes.
So they apprehend Soseki in that short amount of time.
I'm afraid the pursuance of the new case has dulled my recollection of the past involvements a little. A little? It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and can withstand to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but unfortunately my associate pans them beautifully.
He means Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned.
Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I should be only to please, and this murky room is a place to discuss the murky case, whatever. We noticed to be lodging some Japanese foreign student by the name of Suseki Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, while the stabbing of a young woman outside here in Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines.
Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little?
I'm sorry, Mr. Sato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean.
What?
I can't believe he was looking Susato squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I am not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if you pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh? How? I assure you, I have no recollection of accusing your astute compatriot of the crime. But doesn't make sense. Good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man fleeing this crime scene.
Ah, a man fleeing.
There were a number of books scattered on the pavement on the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, what did you say? I believe there's a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit then? That I could not tell you, but it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliography. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No.
Oh dear.
Tell me, have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garredib, a retired military man.
It was the first time I ever met a soldier from the Great British Institution at its service.
And it was the first time I ever met him, a maid from the Great British Institution at his service. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid.
Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer.
And so, conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standings of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standings. Sorry? Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family.
Goodness, how extraordinary.
As you can appreciate, for those at the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is the first importance. How do we get here again? I had no idea. And it is precisely that reason I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs, specifically in the retired army veteran Mr. John Garredib.
Oh.
Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it supposes on the circumstances of this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain. I am thoroughly lost on what he means to say. This room is thoroughly suffocating of the soul. My dear fellow, I assure you, any man whose lot is dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later.
Mr. Nutsby has stabbed no one.
But sooner or later, as I said.
I don't believe that's the issue here.
About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have an idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there's a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked up with bricks. I see. The answer to the question is quite simple. Window tax. Window tax? What is that?
Surely not a tax on windows.
Precisely that!
Oh my goodness.
Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home, perhaps rapidly closed windows up, while the rich opened windows here and there and everywhere, in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money.
How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light.
Indeed, disease was rife as a result. Plague! Some 40 years ago, or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, its squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging, and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinary low price, with a high tax, I presume.
Because the room is so awful, I think?
Apparently Mr. Natsume only moved here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of accommodation. Oh. Still, that is of little relevance here, a matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. Well, I believe I told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remember that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well then, I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly too. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust.
Mr. Sholmes? Mr. Nutsmade didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room. And there are witnesses who swear to have seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I could say. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us. I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I'm quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Garredib is? Mr. Sholmes said as much before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case. Mr. Naruhodo, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Natsume's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probe a little deeper into Garredib's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be relevant or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. He'll join us in a bit. With that, we'll end the episode right here. The next episode, we'll begin going to the Garrett's room again. Like, comment, subscribe, check us out, and I'm signing out.